Hi, it's the M.L.M for the Soul channel, and I have a new topic for today. And before I begin, I just want to say, may the words and expressions of my mouth and the thoughts and meditations of my heart find favor and acceptance before you, Hashem. And this is the continuation of the Mesillas Yesharim, which is the way of the upright or the path of the just, by the Ramchal, Rav Moshe Chaim Lutzato. And this is from the Art Scroll Yafa edition, and this is what the Sefer looks like if you've never seen it. And I will have a link below to the Art Scroll so you can check out all that they offer. This is up to part number 77, still in chapter 19, which is called The Elements of Chassidus, which is Piety. And last time I was doing, I finished up, I split it up into two on the section that was discussing the love of Hashem. And then this next one, I mentioned briefly in the last video, that is an offshoot of love. There are three of them, and one is Deveikus, which is cleaving to Hashem. So that's the section I'm going to do right now. So Deveikus, cleaving to Hashem. Deveikus to Hashem means that the heart of a person is so firmly attached to Hashem, blessed be He, that he ceases to turn or pay attention to anything other than Him. And the commentary says, see Ramban to Devarim 11:22, who also defines, quote, cleaving to Hashem as complete preoccupation with Hashem to the exclusion of all else. Also see Rambam, Hilchos Tshuva 10:3, meaning that that's it. That's the only thing that's occupying yourself. Okay, and he continues, the level of Deveikus is what the metaphor found in the words of Shlomo HaMelech refers to in Mishlei 5:19, a beloved hind inspiring favor. Her will say to you at all times, you will always be consumed with her love. And the commentary says, in its context, the verse speaks about the love of a man for the wife of his youth, which is a metaphor for Torah, and see Rashi to Mishlei 1:1 and Eruvin 54b. Thus the verse means that when one is attached to Torah, his love for it is so great that it consumes his mind and he is unable to think about anything else. See Targum and Malbim to the verse, and also Rambam Hilchos Tshuva 10:3 and Hilchos Isurei Bia 22:21. Also see note 120 below. We'll get to that. I don't know, maybe today. I think so. So now also although Ramchal is discussing Deveikus to Hashem, while the verse and the following incident involving Rabbi Elazar ben Padat illustrates Deveikus to Torah, these are in truth one and the same. As the Torah is Hashem's word, and one who cleaves to his word thereby cleaves to him. And it also says, see Nefesh HaChaim 4:10, who elaborates on this. Okay, now he continues. And in the Gemara, Eruvin 54b, the sages of blessed memory stated the following as an illustration of the Mishlei verse. Thus, they said about Rabbi Elazar ben Padat that he would sit engrossed in Torah study in the lower marketplace of Tzipori. While unbeknownst to him, his cloak lay in the upper marketplace of Tzipori. And the commentary said, he was so engrossed in the study of Torah that he forgot to bring his cloak with him when he moved from one marketplace to the other. That's from Rabbeinu Hananel. Now the pinnacle of this trait is for a person to cleave in this way to his Creator at all times and at every moment, as will be explained in chapter 26. But at the very least, at the time of divine service, if one truly loves his Creator, he will surely experience this Deveikus. The commentary says the pinnacle of Deveikus, the constant uninterrupted cleaving to Hashem in every possible situation, is an integral component of the trait of Kedusha, which is holiness, discussed in chapter 26. Deveikus, as it relates to Chassidus, the subject of this chapter, is experienced while praying or performing mitzvahs. And see, it says see above notes 49 to 50, which I'm not going to do, but if you want to go back in the videos to find that. And this means doing one's best to avoid foreign thoughts during prayer. That's from Matnas Chalko, which I'm saying that's a hard thing to do. It's a hard thing for everyone to do, to avoid any kind of other things coming into your mind while you're praying, especially when you're praying the Amidah, Shemona Esrei. It's like the hardest time. So it's something to work on for sure. Okay, and he continues, a powerful example of this Deveikus while praying. In the Talmud Yerushalmi, Brachos 5:1, the sages stated the following. Rav Chanina ben Dosa was once standing in prayer, and a chav arbar, which is a type of snake, came and bit him, but nevertheless he did not interrupt his prayer, etc. His disciple said to him, our master, did you not feel the chav arbar's bite? why did you not interrupt your prayer to tend to the dangerous wound? He replied, may misfortune befall me if I do not speak the truth. The commentary said, accepting misfortune upon oneself in the event that one is lying is considered a form of an oath. See Shulchan Aruch Yeridea 237 verse 3. So let me just reiterate what that means, that if you accept misfortune upon yourself, if you're lying, it's considered an oath. That's pretty strong. So now he says, continues, since my heart was concentrating on my prayer, I did not feel the bite. So that's why to him there was no reason for him to stop. I'm saying that, but that's what I understand from his answer. Now, Ramchal continues. Ramchal cites several scriptural references to Deveikus and shows that they all refer to the concept he has presented. Regarding Deveikus, we have been exhorted many times in the Torah. Like it says in Hebrew, I'll first read in Hebrew, Ahava et Hashem Elokecha v'gomer u'davka vo. For if you will observe the entire commandment that I command you to perform, to love Hashem your God and to cleave to Him. That's from Devarim 30:20. And Hashem, and then it says uvo tidbak, meaning Hashem your God shall you fear, Him shall you serve, and to Him shall you cleave. Same thing, Devarim 10:20. And it also says uvo tidbakun, and to Him shall you cleave. Again, that's Devarim 13:5. And David HaMelech, and David HaMelech also referred to Deveikus and stated in Tehillim 63 verse 9. In Hebrew, Davka nafshi acharecha means my soul cleaves after you. The theme of all these verses is the same. It is the cleaving with which a person cleaves to Hashem, blessed be He, to the point that he's unable to detach himself and budge from Him. The commentary says, his love for Hashem is so all-consuming that it is impossible for him to disengage from thoughts of Hashem and His Torah. The Rambam in Hilchos Tshuva 10:3 also stresses the inability of a person who truly loves Hashem to stop thinking of Him. He compares such a person to one who is lovesick for a woman. Regardless of what he does, eating, working, or any other activity, he cannot stop thinking about the woman he loves. And it says, see note 116, which I read before. Ramchal refers here to the ultimate level of Deveikus, which is the subject of chapter 26. As he stated above, Chassidus calls for cleaving to Hashem at least at the time of prayer. So that's just an understanding, I'm just saying this, what that actually means to be stick to Hashem like glue, that nothing can budge you. There's everything you're doing, it's all, and that's not an easy thing to do as well. Okay. And now he continues. At the beginning of his discussion of love of Hashem, Ramchal defined this love as 1, a powerful yearning for closeness to Hashem, and 2, a feeling of delight when involved in matters related to Him, meaning to Hashem. Here he has additionally introduced the concept of Deveikus, cleaving to Him constantly. Ramchal now cites a statement of the sages that highlights these 3 central components of love. The sages of blessed memory stated in Bereshis Rabbah 80 verse 7, Rav Shimon ben Lakish said, with 3 expressions of love did the Holy One, blessed is He, express His love for Israel. And we can derive all of them from the episode of Shechem, the son of Hamor. Hashem expressed His love for Israel with the term cleaving, with the term yearning, and with the term delight. So in Hebrew, that's bedevika, bechashika, and bechafitza. And the commentary says that Shechem ben Hamor kidnapped and violated Yaakov's daughter Dinah. The Torah goes on to use 3 terms to describe his intense desire for her, stating that he cleaved to her, that's from Bereshis 34 verse 3, yearned for her, that's also Bereshis 34 verse 8, and delighted in her, Bereshis 34:19. So the Midrash teaches that Hashem expresses His love for Israel using the same 3 terms. Cleaving is mentioned in Devarim 4 verse 4, yearning in Devarim 7 verse 7, and delight in Malachi 3 verse 12. Being that it is natural for love to be reciprocal, and seeing that a human being can love in these 3 ways, Ramchal infers that our love for Hashem must incorporate all 3 aspects mentioned here. That's also Me'or HaMesila and Matnas Chelko. An additional commentary says, Rav Eliah Lopian pointed out that in highlighting the intensity of Shechem's love for Dinah, the sages meant to derive an underlying lesson about translating love of Hashem into action. When the sons of Yaakov pretended to agree to allow Shechem to marry Dinah, they made one stipulation, that all males of the city must be circumcised. This was an exceedingly difficult request. Ordinarily, one could imagine all the excuses that Shechem would have concocted to absolve himself of this requirement. However, Shechem's desire for Dinah was so intense that he hurried to fill this, quote, impossible demand. This shows that strong desire and love for something can make the most difficult things seem easy. That's from Matnas Chalko as well. Okay, now he continues. Let's see where I was. Okay, now these three terms that the sages list correspond precisely to the primary branches, meaning components of love of Hashem. That is the yearning for closeness that I mentioned earlier in my definition of love of Hashem. That was in note 104. Okay, I'm not going back, but that's where it was. Okay, now the cleaving to the beloved, which is also listed as the first of its offshoots, and the satisfaction and pleasure that is found in involvement with matters pertaining to the beloved one, which is mentioned earlier in the definition of love of Hashem. And the commentary says the three, which are called Anfei Ha'ava, literally branches of love, listed here do not match the three that Ramchal mentioned earlier. Earlier at note 114, he listed cleaving, joy, and zealousness. Right, those were the three. Those are the three offshoots that I think I mentioned. Yeah, from the previous video. Okay, he lists. Okay, he lists cleaving, yearning, and desiring pleasure from being involved in the affairs of the beloved. It would seem that here Ramchal is using the term, quote, branches of love in a different sense than he did before. Earlier, the term was used to connote the outward manifestations of love. Love of Hashem finds expression in three ways, which are cleaving to Him, performing His mitzvot with joy, and zealously guarding His honor. Here Ramchal uses, quote, branches of love to connote the three main components of love itself. The essence of love is a yearning for closeness, a preoccupation with thoughts of the beloved, meaning cleaving, and a delight in any interaction with the beloved. It emerges that Deveikus, which is cleaving, is at the same time part of the definition of love and the primary outward manifestation of that love. So it can have two meanings. So see Yunim of Rav Yecheskel Charna above. And that is where I'm going to stop here. The next time continue about the joy in serving Hashem. And I just want to say that I hope and pray that we will all merit to live and see the coming of Mashiach speedily in our days and rebuilding of our final and everlasting Beit HaMikdash. Amen, and thanks for watching.